So TikTok, which was scheduled to be banned by the app stores under the direction of the U.S. government on Sunday, will remain. Joe Biden is not going to enforce the TikTok ban, and neither will Donald Trump, which is very odd because Donald Trump back in 2020 was the first president to call for TikTok to be banned. Then Joe Biden, under his administration, agreed. But now they both want it to stay. And it really wasn't supposed to be a ban. The bill said that it was supposed to force the sale of it from a Chinese company to an American company, or it would be banned. But obviously, TikTok didn't want to do that because it's one of the most powerful information warfare machines ever to exist, and is really largely responsible for the cultural cancer that we have seen over the years in the United States. Millions of TikTokers were extremely concerned about the pending ban, especially the influencers, the professional TikTokers who do make careers over there just like YouTubers and have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, usually for just doing the absolute most brain-dead things you could possibly imagine. And this TikTok influencer went viral because of her meltdown. But few people know that she's actually just trolling, but she does it so well. She captures the entitlement of the Generation Z TikTok influencers so good that it is almost impossible to tell unless you look into her other content that she is just trolling.
But yeah, guys, right now I'm really worried because if TikTok's banned, like what are us influencers really gonna do? Like, we have nothing to go to. So I'm probably gonna sue the government because without TikTok, there is no me, there is no influencer. My bills are too high to work at McDonald's. Like, that's just not gonna ever happen. That's just not a thing. I want to thank everyone who sent me money on Venmo. I was able to get a total of $6,000 already. Like, that's so nice. Like, no one's ever done anything like nice for me before.
As Chai Raichik, the woman who runs the Libs of TikTok Twitter account, revealed years ago now, TikTok was really the central source of the cultural cancer that spread across the country. And that's why China has been using it to perpetuate that and boost that. While over in their country, such content is not allowed. For China's LGBTQ community, safe spaces are becoming harder to find. If you do a Google search for China LGBTQ promotion, the top search result now is the AI overview that they put together. So like Google's ChatGPT, where they try to just put a couple bullet points together in a Wikipedia-style article about the topic instead of just putting the top search results. It says, China has limited LGBTQ promotion and increased restrictions on LGBTQ rights and advocacy in recent years. This includes increased government censorship, restrictions on LGBTQ events and venues, and increased scrutiny of the activists. The government has banned effeminate men on TV and shows about close male relationships. The Shanghai Pride Parade was forced to end after 12 years due to harassment and threats from authorities. The LGBTQ rights advocacy China organization was forced to close after police made it a condition for the release of its founder from detention. Media coverage of LGBTQ issues has decreased, and the rainbow-related accounts and content have been removed from social media. Which, I do got to admit, is a great idea because no sane society wants these kinds of people to be promoted, let alone celebrated, especially amongst the impressionable youth. These people are all teachers. I don't even know if I want to show these clips anymore. These are some of the first people that went viral after the Libs of TikTok account found them. All teachers promoting gender non-binaryism to their elementary school kids. This guy, remember him? He wears stilettos to the classroom. He is a high school teacher.
I teach high school, and most days of the week I come to school in stilettos. I get to stand at about 6'6", and the reason why is so I can create an explicitly queer space for all of my students. That way they know that this place is a place for them, by them, and because I never had one of those growing up.
What kind of a country would allow somebody like this to even be a teacher in the first place? Back when I was in school in the 90s, if we had a teacher like this, we wouldn't have even needed the parents or the school board or the administrators to do anything about it. We would have run them out of town ourselves. Not a joke.
Man, y'all thought me teaching the children about me being poly was crazy. But not only that, but they also know that I'm gender fluid.
Poly, by the way, means that this individual, this carbon-based life form, is not in a committed monogamous relationship. They just do anything and everything with whomever.
At one point last year, I had explained to them that I was not Miss Lois or Mr. Lois. It's just Lois because I'm not a boy or a girl. And
this carbon-based life form was allowed to keep their job and to go on social media and start bragging about what it is that they're doing to the students.
Hi, my name's Az and I'm a preschool teacher. So my classroom celebrates diversity. It's probably my favorite thing to teach.
Of course.
We usually use kids' books to talk about this kind of thing. Recently we started wearing pronoun pins, and the kids get to pick a new pronoun pin every day. We have some that pick like she, her every single day, and we have some that change it up.
So it's also obviously the parents' fault for allowing their kids to be subjected to this nonsense, but society as a whole is responsible for this. It's just unbelievable that this was allowed to even happen, let alone to become so accepted in, well, I guess the United States of Sodom and Gomorrah is really what we should call this place now. I mean, how else to explain a TikTok account with nearly 1 million subscribers, 865,000 subscribers, literally dedicated to drag queens with Down syndrome?
That's my technique. That's my technique. I'm coming back for you, baby. I'm coming back for you.
I did a video about this a couple years ago. You may have seen it. It's just unbelievable that such a practice doesn't cause a global, I was going to say a national outrage, but something like this really should cause a global outrage. But obviously, and thankfully, finally, the cultural pendulum is starting to swing back into a more normal direction. It just depends on how far we can get it to go back, and if this Pandora's box that has been opened on our society is ever able to be closed and have the damage reversed. It is a good sign, though, that Facebook is removing their restrictions on misgendering transgender people, which is causing a huge liberal meltdown. And now we might start seeing more instances like this. A city council person in Massachusetts who identifies as gender non-binary has taken a months-long leave of absence after the other council members misgendered her, or it.
That city councilor filing a complaint with Worcester's Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and they're taking a month-long break. They say it's for emotional and mental safety.
Notice that she didn't say she is taking it for mental safety. It's they. It's a they, them.
Worcester City Councilor at Large Tu Nguyen taking a month-long mental health break, accusing the mayor and council of a toxic culture. Nguyen uses the pronouns they, them, and says it's not safe to show up to meetings in person.
It's just not safe for them to be called a she and a her. What is wrong with this community to even elect this person in the first place?
Nguyen uses the pronouns they, them, and says it's not safe to show up to meetings in person.
I really wished I felt safe enough to show up on the council floor, but I don't.
Last night, when talking about remote participation, Nguyen accused the mayor and another councilor, Kathleen Toomey, of using the wrong pronouns. Nguyen also says Councilor Candy Merrow Carlson repeatedly called them it.
I have faced transphobia with being misgendered, and recently learned that I have been dehumanized to a point where I'm being referred to as it by my colleagues on this council.
Well, you better get used to it because there's a massive cultural shift happening in America. And people are finally tired of your games. Meta's new policies open the gate to hate, they say. And if you missed it, old Joe denounced Facebook's change in his farewell address the other night.
Social media is giving up on fact-checking.
Fact suppressing, you mean? Well, anyway, adios, senor. And goodbye to you too, bimbo, and say hello to MAGA 2.0. And in case you missed it, the newly redesigned markdice.com is filled with all sorts of fantastic products, including a whole bunch of different mugs, which are available in 3 different sizes. The standard coffee mug, a larger 15-ounce, and the 20-ounce mug. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.